$2.5 million, and Paul Smith and John Phan both have about $1.2 million.
Well, quick action here. Zach and Ahmet out, and Paul Smith with ace-7 of spades has gone all in. Right behind him, John Phan has picked up a pair of eights.
Count that down, please.
Well, both these guys have about the same amount of chips, so essentially, if John makes this call, their tournament lives will be on the line.
How much does it have, Ron?
$1,135,000, it looks like.
Well, John wanting a chip count here. John, a very deliberate player, frustrates a lot of players because he takes so much time on every decision.
Yes, he does. This is a big decision.
It is, Vince, but tough to lay down 2 8s in this spot, I think.
Well, it's $1.2 million.
Call for a clock.
Ooh.
Well, Paul has called the clock on John Phan. When a guy calls a clock on somebody, that means that opponent has 1 minute to act on their hand. If they don't act in that minute's time, their hand is automatically folded. You saw tournament director Ron Kramer putting the clock on.
Well, Mike, what's interesting, this is an obvious tell. If Paul had aces, kings, or queens, he would never say a clock. You want the guy to have breathing room and to take his time. This shows that he's not that strong, in my opinion.
I call.
John has picked up on it. He's made the call.
Well, I agree, and John agrees with you too, Vince. He's made the call. You just never think a guy would have aces, kings, or queens that would call the clock on you.
No, he wouldn't.
And so right now, John Phan out in front with the 2 8s. He's up against an ace-7. As the cards lie, he's about a 2-to-1 favorite to win this pot and eliminate Paul Smith from this tournament.
So far, the part-time lawyer has just hit himself with a gavel.
Nice slow roll, huh?
Well, it is not over.
No.
Certainly Paul can get lucky and win the pot, but right now, John Phan in great shape to double up.
Here's the flop.
Lose 4.
Flop is...
Oh, well, it's come 2 7s on the flop. John dumps the drink on the floor as it comes 9-7-7. Paul Smith has made 3 7s on the flop. He's hit the slot machine to take the lead.
Just a scary flop there for the lawyer.
John is going to have to catch an 8 or hit 2 winning cards to make it straight. Otherwise, he is going to be crippled. Tough luck for John Phan, at least on the flop. 2 more cards to come.
Hey!
Well, a 10 comes off. Now, that's a good card for John, and he has an open-end straight draw now. A 6 or a jack will win it for him as well as an 8. Well, the crowd rooting for a jack, a 6, or an 8. That's what it's going to take for John Phan to win this pot. Can he get lucky here?
Paul Smith has got to sweat this last card. What will it be?
The 6! Wow! John the Razor Phan has finally got some luck at a final table. He's backdoor to straight. He is going to win this pot. Paul Smith is going to be our 4th place finisher.
Paul Smith is going to pick up $246,000 and probably an ulcer. He'd like to shake hands with the Razor, but the Razor Phan away from the table.
John is notorious. I knew that he had a fairly easy decision, but because of the way he acts at the table, and even if he makes up his mind, he'll still sit there for 5 or 10 minutes. So I've never called the clock in the history of my poker playing, and that's the first time, and definitely I feel it was appropriate time to call the clock. But everybody else at the table is fantastic, and I really enjoyed playing with them, and they're all great players.